Fool on the Hill is one of those side quests that at first might just seem like a simple fetch quest, but in fact really lays out the narrative of the story as you progress through the game. There is a strong correlation between the cards and the characters that V meets in their journey, as well as certain events that happen and unfold throughout the course of the game. The Fool on the Hill side quest starts automatically once you collect your first card after the prologue. There are 20 cards scattered throughout Night City, and these come in the form of graffitis or murals on the walls. You can either get close to the wall to interact with it, or use your scanner to scan the graffiti for it to be considered collected. Collecting all of these will get you the Wandering Fool achievement. The cards are automatically marked on your map as you progress through the story, and can be collected even after you finish the main storyline. If you're focusing on just finding the tarot cards in the game, you can make life easier for yourself by cycling through the legend on the side of the map. Once you've collected all 20 cards, you can then return to Misty to complete the Fool on the Hill side job quest. Here you'll get an insight into how V's future might unfold, as well as get a free item from Misty. So I collected all of these in order of location, and I'll stick a timestamp in the description in case you'd like to follow around in case you're having trouble with a particular card or something. While collecting each card, I'm going to tell you the meanings of each of these different tarot cards, but I'm not going to say them in a spoilery way. At the end of the video, I'll give you my impressions of what I think all of these tarot cards mean. I'll also go through the last final 2 locations that you get, which are based on the different ending branches that you can go through. I'd really like to hear all of your interpretations on each of the different cards as well, so definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. This also helps me stick to the algorithm, which is a nice added plus. Also, if you're new here, why not consider subscribing? This channel is all things Cyberpunk. So the first card that we're going to go for is the Hanged Man tarot card. You'll find this on the side of a water tower in the northern oil fields. The Hanged Man card is the card of sacrifice. It says that a price must be paid in order to achieve enlightenment. The Hanged Man's forsakenness opens the path for rebirth into a new life, though this path is wrought with pain, suspended in time, and ultimately ends in death. The next card is the Emperor. You can find this card in the Arasaka waterfront in Watson. It's close to the Konpeki Plaza entrance, and you'll find it on the left hand side of a wall located at the entrance. The Emperor represents patriarchal control, and is pleased with the authority and power he possesses to shape the future. The Emperor makes the rules and enforces them for the common good, but prestige has its dark sides. The Emperor is dominating and ruthless, and will climb over a mountain of bodies to achieve his aim. The next tarot card on the list is the Magician. This can be found in Kabuki across from Lizzie's bar on a supporting bridge pillar that you'll see there. The Magician is the card of self-confidence and adapting to situations through intellect and sheer will. The Magician is a schemer who always has one last trick up his sleeve, who, despite everything, manages to stay afloat and remain in control of his own destiny. The next card we're going to find is the Sun, which can be found next to the tunnel or underpass in Little China. The Sun symbolizes success. It is a card of freedom, renewal, and a bright future that lies ahead. The Sun also represents truth, for its light will always pull back the curtain of shadow that hides the world's secrets. It also represents greatness and splendor. The Fool is one of the easiest cards that you'll find because this is right outside V's apartment in Little China. You'll find this at the right hand side of the door entrance. The Fool is everyone, including you and me. Each step he takes on his journey feels like stepping into a brave new world. Ultimately, the journey will change him, but as the card shows, he's a trustworthy lad whose tireless hope drives him towards his goal. You'll find the World Tarot card on the balcony or just above Misty's workplace in Little China. You'll come to this location as part of the ending sequence, but if you want to get there earlier, you can just take the elevator to the top floor. The world lies at the end of the Fool's long and winding journey. Wiser and more world-weary than he started out, the Fool faces a moment of reckoning. Some of us accept where our journey has led us to, while others embark on a new challenge. One thing in the world is certain, you can't have it all. The next card is the Chariot card. The Chariot is found on the wall next to Tom's Diner in Little China. The Chariot is always charging ahead, despite being pulled by its steeds in opposite directions. The rider who steers it constantly reins in the light and dark sides of the soul with the help of reason. To ride in the chariot is to experience highs and lows, ups and downs. The Empress can be found on the bottom of the stairs just before entering the Afterlife bar in Little China. The Empress is a card of femininity and motherhood. She is authoritative, knows what she wants, and exhibits refinement and sensuousness. The Empress symbolizes creativity and growth, and instructs us not to dismiss our unconscious impulses, but to trust our intuition. The next card on the list is the Hierophant. You'll find the Hierophant next to a white gate located to where V and Takamura meet in Japantown. The Hierophant symbolizes a respect for tradition. It represents one who tries to maintain the established order, even though their very character is shaped by it. The Hierophant places his faith in institutions, for the alternative is pure chaos. Only by placing his faith in order can he draw strength. The Lover's Tarot card can be found at the Silver Pixel Cloud Drive-In Theatre, which is located in North Oak. There'll be a locked door here, but you can easily get the key code from the computer, but if you don't want to, it's just 0000. The Lovers is the card of dichotomies. It points to the contradictions that clash within each of us, and of the challenge of striking a balance between extremes. The Lovers is also a card of dilemmas, like the fool who stands at the crossroads, unable to make his choice. The Moon Tarot card can be found at the entrance of Hana Arasaka's house in North Oak. You'll find it on the wall on the left hand side of the entrance. The moon reminds us that the reality is not always what it seems at first glance. In a world of appearances and illusions, the best course is often charted by one's own intuition. The moon is also the card of dreams, desires, and of course sleep. Death's nightly ritual. You can find the Temperance card in North Oak. Here you'll find it on one of the walls in the columbarium. The Temperance card is a card of balance. It may symbolize self-restraint or the gradual shift towards a more mature state of equilibrium. Temperance is associated with being in control of oneself as well as the desire to achieve inner peace. The next card can be found in Vista del Rey, which is in Haywood. You'll find this in the top floor of this house. The High Priestess is a card of mystery. It shows how all our secrets hang by a delicate thread and the struggle between common sense and intuition. The High Priestess symbolizes the cold, calm waters as well as the mysteries hidden in their depths. The next card can be found in the Glen, which is also in Haywood. You can find the Death card on the Tall Embers building. Death is the card of becoming. It signifies an imminent and difficult transition, the conclusion of one phase of life and the beginning of another. Inevitably, something gets lost during the transformation, but something else will rise and take its place. The next card, the Justice card, is found in Arroyo. You'll find this on a large tank just opposite the Electrical Corporation power plant. Justice is the card of conflict resolution. It proclaims the need for order, to see through lies and deceit, and a return to the natural state of affairs. Justice implies a just sentence, but also due process. Strength card is in Rancho Coronado. You'll find the Strength Tarot card mural on a side wall of a small building, which is right in front of this road. Strength is the card of resilience. It is associated with determination, bravery, and internal struggle. One must have dedication in order to overcome obstacles and reach one's goal. Strength is about physical prowess and spiritual fortitude, the power that must be unleashed to achieve the impossible. The Wheel of Fortune tarot card can be found in the Eastern Wastelands. You'll find this mural on a wall between the apartments 103 and 104 in the Sunset Hotel. The Wheel of Fortune means that change is coming. One's destiny could turn out for the better or the worst, yet it also bears the promise of new possibilities. The wheel reminds us that nobody remains at the top forever, but also not every situation is hopeless. The Star Tarot card can be found in the southern desert area of the Badlands. You'll find this mural on a wall of a small building at the base of a radio tower. The star is the card of hope. In the darkest of nights, there is a light that shines the path home. The star is inspiration, motivation, and gives us strength to move forward. The Hermit tarot card can be found in Pacifica in the West Wind estate. You'll find this on the right hand side of the chapel. The Hermit is a card of self-imposed isolation. It represents an escape from the hustle and bustle of the city, a turning away from the constant newness towards ye old ways. For the Hermit, solitude is the road to the sublime, a road that is taken not with great bounds and strides, but with small, concentrated steps. The next tarot card, the Tower, can be found in Corporate Plaza in City Centre. You'll find this on the wall of the walkway underneath Arasaka Tower. The Tower is an omen of radical change, chaos and destruction. The lightning striking the tower signifies a return to the old order that lies buried under the ruins, and a new order that will rise from it. It is a symbol of tragedy, apocalypse and self-destruction. So, after collecting all of these tarot cards, you will return to Misty and give her the set of cards. She'll then give you a dream catcher that you can hang above your bed in your apartment. As Misty explains, there are 2 more tarot cards that you can find, but these are very heavily related to the story and the choices that you make from this point forward. It is at this point forward now that I also want to have a spoiler warning. From this point on in the video, I'm going to be talking about things that happen late in game, or also referring to tarot cards on how they refer to the actual progress of the game. So if you're still playing through it and you don't want anything spoiled for you, maybe come back to this after you've played the game. So when you reach the point of no return and you're talking and discussing with Johnny, your future, on the balcony, you have different paths that you can choose. If you kind of choose a path that's going to go against Arasaka, you will find the Judgement Card on your adventure. It'll be on the wall of one of the pillars in a area where you have a big boss fight with a big character. The Judgement Card is the card of renewal. The angel blowing into the horn heralds resurrection and liberation. This card foretells an important change that will result in healing or fulfillment. It is also a symbol of self-worth. If you choose a path where you embrace Arasaka's help, you're going to come across the Devil card. You'll find this when you're doing a Rubik's Cube. You'll break it open and there you'll see the Devil tarot card mural. There's actually no description for the Devil tarot card in game, but in actual tarot card readings, the Devil tarot card would represent depression, addiction, obsession, dependency, excess, powerlessness, limitation and materialism. The Devil card often appears in a tarot card reading when you've been tricked into thinking you've no control over yourself or these negative forces that are happening in your life. It's something that you believe that you need, something that you have to have, even if it means going against what you know is right. In the context of Cyberpunk story, it's pretty obvious that Arasaka are essentially trying to get you to sign your digital soul away. So it's not exactly a great card to see in the story. And that's what I really like about the tarot cards in this game, is that they actually kind of correspond to some big events and people in the story. So here's a breakdown of each of the card meanings and roughly where you'll find them in the game. The Fool card is representative of V and your journey in the game of Cyberpunk. You'll find this card directly outside the wall of V's apartment. The Chariot card represents determining your path, and you come across it in Tom's Diner, where you meet Takamura after the prologue. The Magician card means capabilities and resources, and can be found outside Lizzie's bar, where you meet Evelyn. It's this point of the story at the prologue where you're trying to prove your worth to Dexter. The Empress is fruitfulness and communications, and in this story represents your interactions with Rogue, and can be found on the wall just at the entrance of the Afterlife bar. The Emperor, on the other hand, can be found on Konpeki Plaza, which is where your conflict with the corporations begin. It most likely represents your relationship with Abura Arasaka or his son. After playing through all of the endings, I most likely think that it means Abura Arasaka himself. The Hierophant means tradition and alliance, and in this story most likely represents Takamura. It can be found even where you meet him just after the prologue. He is a man of tradition and alliance. The High Priestess card means silence and mystery, and most likely represents your relationship with Hanaka Arasaka. It can be found on Takamura's safe house, which is where you encounter this very silent Hanaka. The Hermit card represents enlightenment and treason. It can be found in Pacifica, where the Voodoo Boys are, and I think it clearly represents them, as the Voodoo Boys like to isolate themselves from the rest of Night City. The Strength card represents strength and courage, and can actually be found on a building wall right beside where you meet Panam. I definitely think that this card does represent Panam's influence on V. If you play through her side missions, you can see she is a force to be reckoned with. Related to this card is the Wheel of Fortune card. This card means change and luck, and it's actually found on the Sunset Motel, which is where you interact with Panam after the job that you had with the Nomads. The Justice card can be found opposite the Electrical Corporation power plant. This is where you go with Judy to help find Evelyn, which the whole storyline of that is justice for Evelyn and who did her wrong. The Lovers card means love and attraction, and can be found behind the screen of the Silver Pixel Cloud Drive-In, which is where Johnny and Rogue go on a date to remember the good times. The Tower card is pretty on the nose here. It clearly represents the Arasaka Tower, and can even be found on the underground passage at the base of the Arasaka Tower, which is a commemorance of when the nuke hit the old tower. The Hanged Man card represents sacrifice and wisdom. It's actually on the water tower on the oil fields, not far from where Johnny Silverhand's body is, which is where you and Johnny Silverhand talk about like sacrifice and the deal that you're kind of making between each other. The Death card represents mortality and transition. It is actually found near the Embers restaurant, which is where the final leg of your character's journey actually is, which in some form or other all leads to death and transition. The Moon card, which means deception and illusion, can fittingly be found outside the wall of the residence where you rescue Hanako in one of the more corporate focused endings. Hanako is the embodiment of manipulative behaviour and hidden agendas. The World Tower card means voyage fulfillment, and comes near the end of V's adventures. It's actually on the balcony where Misty takes you, which is where she took Jackie, and it's where you make some of the more important decisions. This is where V's destiny is sealed. The Sun Tower card means power success. It's at the foot of the building where V's apartment is located in the Paths to Glory epilogue, in where V becomes a living legend. The Star Tower card represents hope and optimism, and you actually find it at the base of an antenna tower in the middle of a solar farm, where you leave Night City for good in the quest for freedom if you complete the adventures with the help of the Nomads and Panam. The Temperance Tower card represents moderation and balance, and you'll find it on the walls of the North Oak Columbarium. This is where Johnny visits in the New Dawn Fades epilogue, and kind of represents how Johnny's now progressing into his new life in V's body. The Judgement card represents resurrection and liberation, and you'll come across it on one of the walls in Mikoshi if you decide to storm Mikoshi in one of those endings. The last card is the Devil card, which you'll come across if you accept Arasaka's help. This card represents manipulation, and in this context, you've definitely been tricked and you're essentially being groomed to sell your soul to Arasaka. If you choose to ring Panam for help in the final act, you'll actually get a tarot card reading from Misty while you wait for her. In the ending credits, no matter which one you choose, you'll also get like a tarot card reading from Misty as well, which kind of is interpreting what happened to V. So, with all this information that I've given you about the different tarot cards and their meanings, I'm going to leave it with the final tarot card reading that you get from Misty. I'm also going to include the different ending readings that you can get as well, and I'll timestamp all these as well in case you wanted to check them out. But let me know in the comments what you think. What is your interpretation of the cards and how they relate to the story as it progresses? I look forward to reading all your comments below.
V, listen, I was just thinking about you, so I laid out a quick tarot. I know the reading's not as strong without you here, but we haven't seen each other for so long, and well, one thing led to another. Know what I drew? Strength, the Emperor, and the world. Babe, the world's gonna hear about you. Go and show Night City what you're made of. Hey V, listen, I was just thinking about you, so I laid out a quick tarot. I know the reading's not as strong without you here, but we haven't seen each other for so long, and well, one thing led to another. You know what I drew? The Chariot, the Lovers, and the Sun. Looks like you've got a good life ahead of you, out in the Badlands. Good luck, V. Be free. Hey, V? Sorry to bother you. I know you're a busy man and everything. But, well, I was wondering how you were doing, so I laid out a quick tarot and... oh dear. The Hanged Man, the Magician, the Star. Those are not good cards, V. They're really bad. There's something like death, but not quite. Take care of yourself, okay? I hope to hear from you soon. Hey V, orbital connections cost an arm and a leg, so I'll just get right to it. I was just thinking about you, so I laid out a quick tarot and... oh dear. The Fool, the Moon, the High Priestess. Those are bad cards. Keep a close eye on your new friends, V. I mean it. Hey, V. Don't think you'll ever listen to this message, but... there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in my philosophy, right? I mean, in the end, it was your choice. Your choice to make. But, well, you should know it didn't just affect you. It hit your friends, too. I don't think you knew just how many friends you really had. Maybe we'll see each other again, V. You, me, Jackie. Until then, take care.